Implementation is not cheap, Dr. Kublalsingh. Where's your organization finding the funds to finance 3 or 4 legal matters against the government?
Well, fortunately, our senior counsels work for free. Fayed Hussain, Ramesh Lawrence Mirage, but we do have to pay our junior attorneys. We, for example, on February 22nd, we have a bus trip to Macquarie. We are raising finance through barbecues and curricues and raffles and that kind of thing.
Is that enough? Because in the same way that you're calling for accountability, and the obvious question is, are you being financed by opposition forces? Are you being financed by those in business who would like to get rid of this government? In the same way that Fixing TNT were outside the parliament on Friday with their new campaign, Who Pay for That? Asking all parliamentarians who has paid for different P&M raffle, government spending and this, that and the other. Is it not reasonable for the wider population to ask who is funding these exercises of the highway reroute movement?
Yes, well, we have a finance committee and we have a books. We have a single book, not 2 books. And as I said, we fund our own activities. I was sitting in front of the Prime Minister's office about 2 months ago with these placards asking, are you going to abide by the Armstrong report? And a gentleman came up, he wouldn't want his name to be mentioned, and he gave us $80,000 just like that to fund 2 advertisements.
Why wouldn't he want his name to be mentioned?
Well, I don't think he wants to be so closely associated with the movement. Many people are not accustomed to this kind and level of activism, and the status quo very often stigmatizes you. He's a businessman, and he therefore wants to keep out of that.
Why aren't people prepared to stand up for what they believe in, Dr. Kublalsingh?
Well,
and be identified as doing so?
It's probably historical. The status quo is like that. We've come from a plantation culture. All the organs of a society 200 years ago, 300 years ago, 100 years ago was meant to serve the plantation master. And if you disobeyed, you would get licks either by the media, who advertised, of course, the advertisement for the slave sellings and so on.
Yes.
And who were the first to react when the system was challenged, and they would beat people into place. Masters would beat you into place, the police would beat you into place, the Bajans would beat you into place. So people are very afraid of challenging the status quo. They're afraid of licks and being beaten into place.